Question of the morning up on our Facebook page. What do the Utah Jazz have in Keyonte George? A mixed bag to be sure here. Tony, a backup point guard or more trade bait? Gray, a player from Baylor. Sam, a very, very inconsistent player that only cares about his offense and doesn't do much else. Dustin's more a beat. He's young and he can score. I love the potential. But Steve said he's trade bait. Carter says he's a career backup.
Is there an attitude problem there?
That is the story we saw that Sarah wrote in the Deseret News. And she had some instances, I take her what she saw. She saw him, I didn't, but I believe her.
Oh, I don't even think that's a question.
Yeah. I mean, to me, the problem is he doesn't play well enough.
I know,
and
but
I
if
don't
you have
really
a bad attitude,
then it's not going to get better.
That's part of the problem.
Yeah. No, I don't see the. I don't really see the upside there. He's had a chance here at point guard, and it's just not something he's done. He's undersized as a two guard. He doesn't shoot the ball very well. 39%, 34 from three. He's not a good defender. I don't see it. Of the six guys they've drafted the last 2 years, to me, he's a guy I'd be least willing to bet on going forward.
So he's sixth?
Yes.
How would you rank him?
I would probably put, let's see.
You're going on potential?
Filipowski on potential?
Or whatever you're going on.
Oh, okay.
Because you've got nothing.
Filipowski won.
From
He's got size. He can move a little bit, and he can shoot it. Man, when you get size and you can shoot it, if you can get out and defend on the perimeter a little bit, you're going to be in the league a long time. Probably Collier 2, Hendrickson and Williams, just because of their size and length and the athletic ability we've seen from them. Now, who knows if for the athletic ability, Cody Williams, he's got to get big. He's got to get bigger, or that's not going to work. And Hendricks, we'll see how well he moves when he comes back from the ankle. Hopefully, it's just take the year off, get healthy, and he'll come back like he did, and then we'll see what I have there. Sensabaugh has one skill; he can shoot it.
I don't think there's any, hopefully, with Taylor Hendricks that'll come back like he was. I mean, it's not a life-altering injury.
We have.
No, we don't.
What?
We have seen it. No, we haven't.
That guys have wrecked their ankle and then not moved as well? That seems plausible.
20 years of age? No.
Well, then I'd be really encouraged. Well, encouraged. I'd be intrigued to see.
Well, nothing
what he
has
has
changed with him. He hasn't shown you anything.
But just on his size,
right? Which is why he was drafted ninth.
Right.
Yeah.
There it is.
But I mean, he'll come back to whatever he was. He'll come back to that, but that's not near good enough. I don't need some divine miracle for him to return to the physical stature that he was.
How would you rank the six? Who did I miss on?
Nobody.
Who would you flip? Oh, that's how you rank them.
I don't know. I hadn't thought about it. But, I mean, it's all opinion, so I don't know that you missed on anyone. So who's five?
Sensabaugh.
There's two ways to look at this. How I would rank them and how I think they would rank them.
Okay. How would they rank them?
Which, I can't say with 85% certainty. I believe Danny Ray thinks this.
Right. I get it. It's not that you know how they rank them, but you think, you expect how
I believe that he was highest on Hendricks. When he drafted all of them, that if he had to put his money on one of the six.
I can see why you would say that.
And it's not just being in the league. I mean, you put a real low bar on Flipper. You basically just had him in the league.
Yeah. Okay. Well, even in the rotation. I mean, I think he can stay on the floor doing that. So,
who's going to help you win playoff games?
Who is it? Now, if you just want to go on who at this moment has the highest potential, I would rank them differently. Because at that point, the highest potential, I get why you would go with Hendricks. His upside and what he's capable of, if everything goes right, who can he be? Yeah, that could be pretty high.
Well, that's the most important. This is sort of like we've all seen it in sports for kids. The 12-year-old who dominates 10, 11, and 12, but then he's 17 and he's just another guy.
Right.
And so you can play it out with these guys at this level right now, because certainly Hendricks and Williams have to come in very low because they haven't played. Hendricks literally hasn't played, and he barely played with the big leagues his first year, and same thing with Williams. So they would go 5 and 6 because they're not out there in terms of right now. But they're 12 years old. How's it going to be when they're 16 and 17? I think every single sports fan who's had kids in sports can relate to what I just said.
Yep.
Because that just happens. I mean, we see it all the time. And every August, you see the parents of the hotshot little leaguer thinking, yeah, oh, man, this is just the start. And then 1 out of 5,000 you hear about 10 years later.
Looking at you, Bryce Harper.
You know what I mean?
I do. I know exactly what you mean.
And you see their parents, and they're thinking,
they look really good.
Johnny's going to the bigs.
So, well, maybe they'll be really good in high school. That'd be good.
And then most of the time, overwhelming amount of time, they
not
just
even
go.
that, yeah.
And really, if they're that good, they're not playing in the Little League anymore.
They're
playing
it
travel
is.
ball.
If you were that good, you wouldn't be in this game.
Yeah.
As I said to a guy in a pickup game once, completely deflated him.
Yeah, and I saw Harper play when he was 12 years old. He wasn't playing Little League. He was getting flown in to play at select tournaments. I literally saw it. And I saw him play when he was 14, and I saw him play when he was 17. And he was a star, and he was a star, and he was a star. But that's the unusual exception, obviously. That's the extreme exception. So from what they are now to what they can become, I'm still thinking that those guys, Danny Ray in particular, hasn't changed his mind.
So on potential, Hendricks 1. Cody 2.
I don't know about Cody Williams yet because he's so undersized. Hendricks, every 19-year-old coming into the league needs to get stronger.
Right.
It doesn't matter who you are.
Right.
I think even LeBron, he needed to get stronger.
Right.
Kobe, he looked like a 17, 18-year-old kid.
He did.
Garnett, the same.
Right. Save pictures of Cooper Flag from this weekend and compare him what he looks like in 5 years. Yeah.
He might be a little bit on the exceptional
size. He's closer.
Yeah.
There'll still be a difference.
But he'll need to get stronger.
Yep.
He's 18 years old.
Yeah.
He'll be 8 when he makes his first bucket. He'll be 18 years old. That's a fact. He'll have 2 months of NBA experience before he turns 19.
Compare the rookie Magic Johnson to the guy who won the title in '87. Even his body
Magic,
was transformed.
He was the one exception who was just awesome out of the womb.
Right. But nonetheless, he still got bigger and stronger. He
didn't need
skinny.
To. No, but
I get it. He was the champ. Yeah. But nonetheless,
and
his
he
body
still
changed.
is.
The once and future champ.
Yes.
King Arthur of the Round Table. The once and future king, the once and future champ.
Don't knock Magic to any degree with me.
I realize that.
Any degree.
That. I even know why. Magic Johnson made Prime Ticket happen.
He made NBA Hoop happen.
The sports regional works if you have Magic.
That league folds without Magic and Bird.
Scuffling along.
It was in a bad spot, and those two elevated into a great spot. So I would, if you're going to go on where we are in 2-3 years, I still believe the management is going to go Hendricks 1. After that, man, I'm partially blinded by what I see right now.
How much better can Isaiah Collier get? You're going to put him at 2 on potential upside?
That's what I'm thinking.
Because Cody Williams has to add so much strength, so much weight. You just don't want to put him at 2.
I don't.
There's so much work to be done.
I think the best I can put him at is like 4.
Oh, so who's 3?
Maybe Flipper.
Okay.
But George, I'm not ready to toss out. Because, and you go.
So you get sense about 6 and George 5?
Yeah, I can see that. Read the story that she wrote in the D News because it is not good. It's not flattering. It's concerning. I'm not going to say it's alarming. I'm going to say it's concerning because I still want to give George an opportunity to grow up. Now, you got Morant still doing nonsense, and he should be grown up.
Right.
But then you got others who had an issue or two. I mean, Darren Williams' rookie year was running around in Park City giving the cops fake names. We got rid of that.
Grow up.
Right. So I'm going to allow these young men an opportunity to mature. If it was my own kid, I would allow him an opportunity to mature.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't, though.
They don't, but I do think that, back to your point about watching kids play sports at 10, 12, 14, and 16 and seeing this transformation happen as kids get better and kids plateau, watching your kids grow up at 18, 19, 20, 21, you realize, I certainly do, kind of like, excuse me, they'll be different at 25 than at 20,
Maybe.
This is, right, you hope. You hope that this is going to change over the next 2, 4, 6 years.
In some cases, you desperately pray.
Yes.
We'll leave it at that. And whether it happens or not remains to be seen. So I'm not going to discard George because it seems like he's pouting. Because he's got usurped by Collier and Flipper. And Sensabaugh is coming up on the outside.
Yeah.
And so there's a certain level of George was all that for many years. Well, now you're not all that, buddy. And how are you going to adjust? And are you just going to come in with a bleep poor attitude, or are you going to be a team guy and do what they tell you to do? And most important thing, when Hardy's up there talking about body language, and then I read in her piece the next day, body language of George was bad, that's clear who he was talking about.
Yes, clearly. Those could easily be connected.
Yeah.
And I think anybody who heard him talk, and we played it here on the air. So
right.
Yeah, if you heard him talk and then you read her description of what she's seen,
right.
How do you not put the two together?
And it's harder to see on television when you're in the stadium or arena.
Yeah.
You can see those things, and media is trained to look at those things because that's one of the benefits of being there is you can get the entire story that's to be had. And you can't really get it sitting at home on your couch. And so she knows what she's talking about.
You're only going to see what the camera's pointed at.
And so she's looking, she sees that, plus she's been told to look for that, blah, blah, blah. And so she puts it all together and writes a very good piece that was one of the better pieces I've seen written this year. And way to go, Sarah. But, it was very insightful as I read it. Like, I'm putting two and two together and are able to figure out that's what he's referring to. So George needs to clean that up. He basically needs to grow up.
Because if he doesn't, he'll end up being out of the league.
Yeah, for sure.
These are the stakes.
Right. But I'm not going to put
Remember, program stops for no one. The NBA stops for no one.
I'm not going to put a complete obstacle and barrier saying he can't grow up.
Sometimes it clicks.
Right.
Sometimes.
Right.
You just have to wait and see if it does. Or you've got draft picks and you need roster spots next year, and the club has to make decisions.
Right.
Somebody's going to have to go.
Right.
DJ PK, it's 97.5, The Zone.